This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. And what I'm looking at today is 2022's Jeepers Creepers Reborn, directed by Timo Vuorensola. And this is a hard movie to review for lots of reasons. The most, as far as I'm concerned, important being, if you're into movies, you probably know about the situation with Victor Salva. And he was the director of Jeepers Creepers 1 to 3. The first two, extremely competent and well done movies. The last, not so much. But that's not the point. Which happens to be that the idea of watching a Victor Salva directed movie is not something I could stomach. Can't do it. And for me to rent such a movie in my mind contributes to some of the terrible things which this man has been accused of doing. I won't be a part of that. So when Timo Vuorensola, who directed Iron Sky and its sequel, was taking on Jeepers Creepers, that for me was an interesting thing because I wouldn't have to deal with Victor Salva and his issues as far as my own head goes. And Timo Vuorensola is actually a really interesting director. And so it would be worth it to see how he interprets Jeepers Creepers. And his interpretation is interesting. And if I were to rank the Jeepers Creepers movies, I would have to say it would be Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, and Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Because it's not a great movie, let's be honest, but there is a certain joyfulness to it, and in its leads of Sidney Craven and Iman Adams make this movie work a lot better than it should. Though its greatest problem is green screen, which is to say, there's not only too much of it, it's fairly obvious that it's green screen. If you can pull off green screen, and I don't know it's green screen, more power to you. I think you're doing great, and if that works, keep doing it. Why stop? But in the case of Jeepers Creepers Reborn, it's not only green screen, it's fairly obvious green screen. Could I do better? I don't know. Watching this channel, you probably are aware that I shoot most of my videos against a green screen. Some come out better than others. In any case, I'm also not asking someone to pay to see these videos. They're on YouTube, they're free, please pass it on. In any case, it's not a bad movie. It changes the dynamics of Jeepers Creepers. Though the opening of this movie filled me with such joy. And when you have Gary Graham and Dee Wallace in your movie, for me that's a plus. They're great. But from there, things pretty much go downhill. If you weren't aware, the story revolves around a couple played by Sidney Craven and Iman Adams who are on their way to a horror festival. And Sidney Craven's character happens to be pregnant. Though everyone they meet on their way to this festival seems to know that she is with child. And we come to learn that there's a cult revolving around the creeper, almost like the cult of Chucky. And this cult are preparing the way for his rebirth. I believe it's something like every 32 years he comes out hiding. And this movie deals with that time. The creeper is being reborn, and there's this connection to this pregnant woman. Does it make sense? I'm not entirely sure. I might have to watch it again, but on the face of it, I don't see the point. Though, the movie then becomes a very slasher-adjacent affair as the creeper begins to knock off various people. And I'll readily admit that the work that Victor Salva did in Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 was far superior to what Timo Vuorensola does in Jeepers Creepers Reborn. But that being said, Timo Vuorensola does not have the baggage, as far as I'm aware, that Victor Salva has. And as a result, I'm able to better enjoy this movie. It's not great, but it's also not bad. And it's certainly better, by my reckoning, than Jeepers Creepers 3, directed by Victor Salva. Would I recommend Jeepers Creepers Reborn? Unless you're a completist, probably not. As I said, it's not a great movie, but I can watch it without feeling guilty somehow. And for me, that's really important. So what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow.